Okay, B. So you have to talk to us about that decision to leave the game because of your sprained ACL. You must have agonized and debated about that for a while now.
Yes.
For a while, like overnight there.
Yeah. Sprained the MCL, actually. And yes, after the challenge, Dr. Bo looked at it. He said it was sprained, hyperextended, or whatnot, but it was not a tear. So we wrapped it up, and I went back to camp, and for the rest of the day, I just was crying and trying to figure out ways of how I could stay. But as I'm figuring this out, mind you, I'm around camp, and as I'm even walking on the sand, as I'm walking up the hill, down the hill, it feels like it's on the verge of tearing. But I still decided to wait overnight. So I was like, I'm going to wait to see how I wake up. Hopefully it'll subside. I woke up with a swollen knee, and the pain doubled what I felt the day before. So I made the decision that this could be a career-ending tear for me, and that I was no longer of good use to anyone on the show. So I left.
And looking back all these months later, do you think you made the right decision, or do you wish maybe you'd stuck it out an extra day or two?
So looking back, I don't regret it, because it would have been a bigger regret to tear it and not be able to fight anymore. It's hard to not feel so sad because my knee did get better. So I have this like always what if, and I feel like in the game I was playing the game well, I was in a good position in the game, and that will always haunt me. So I don't regret it, but a lot of it haunts me.
And what was that moment like? Yeah, it definitely does. What was the moment like when you made the announcement and then all of your tribe mates came over and embraced you in this big hug?
Oh my God. I told my tribe mates the night before that I might be making this decision, but I was going to wait overnight to see how I would wake up and how the knee would be. And that morning when they found out, they were crying and embracing me and being so supportive. I mean, it's the Davids. I couldn't have asked for a better tribe and especially better people in that situation right then. It's the Davids. They're so sweet and cute and supportive. It was great. I needed it. It was tough to have to say it in front of Jeff and make it official.
Right. Did Jeff know at that point, or were you giving him information that he wasn't aware of?
Jeff, I don't believe he knew. He knew I was injured because the day before he was there when I was getting examined. He brought the doctor in to examine me. He knew I was limping. So at the point of the challenge when they were doing the puzzle, Jeff noticed it right away because I was crouched down like something is wrong. Something's really painful. I couldn't even stand without my leg buckling. So he knew right away, but I don't think he knew my decision because nobody really knew until the morning of that I made the actual final decision to leave.
One thing that really stood out to me was Angelina over on the other tribe. I don't think you'd ever even met her before, but she was crying. She was tearing up. What did that mean to you? Someone on the opposing tribe was feeling for you.
Oh, that meant so much to have the support of her and the understanding, because for me, I was anticipating people the other tribe being upset with me or judging me because they're not an athlete and they can go to the office, with a hurt knee and so I feel like how would they relate to me? Like they're not going to understand my decision. Like people aren't going to understand my decision unless they're an athlete or they know what I do for a living, get kicked in the leg for a living. So to have her support me like that and just to empathize without actually knowing the feeling of what I'm going through was amazing. I mean, it was great.
Well, after you left the beach, the tribes had to drop their buffs and they switched everything up. Who do you think from the Goliath you could have worked with really well if you didn't have this injury?
I think that I would have definitely worked with Kara, or Angelina, because up until that point, for two opposite reasons. Kara was like the loving kind of not making huge moves at that point, and I think her and I are similar. But I think partnering up with Angelina would have been great because I know she seemed like a savvy player. And up until that point, I was playing I like to call it the dumb jock game. I wanted everybody to underestimate my social skills because it was apparent, my physical skills. So I feel like I could have gone under her wing and kind of let her make all the big moves and put everything on her, and then I could have rode along with it and secretly made moves along the way, but didn't work out that way, but that's what I would have liked.
What did you think of the big twist of season 37, the whole Davids versus Goliath theme of the season?
I'm sorry, you broke out. What was that?
What did you make of the whole twist this year of the Davids versus Goliaths? Did you love that twist, or were you kind of like, eh?
I loved it. Because everybody loves an underdog story and the journey of an underdog. So I thought it was brilliant. I was excited. I was on the David tribe. I know a lot of people were like, how is an MMA fighter not on the Goliath? But I think that my spirit matched the David tribe to a T. So I was really excited. I thought it was interesting, and it's proving to be extremely entertaining. So.
You got to go to one tribal council, so I want to talk to you about that vote. You voted for Lyrsa, and Jessica ended up going home. So how shocked were you that things didn't go the way you thought they would go?
At the time, I was extremely shocked because everybody was on board with Lyrsa, and I spent the time before we all knew, we were all on board, most of us except for Elizabeth and Lyrsa, that we were voting for Lyrsa. Watching back that episode, I realized that I didn't reassure Gabby enough, and I think that's where I slipped up. But I'm just happy I was but even affected by a blindside before I left the game. Now looking back, it hurt me at the time, but it was a great experience. You have to go on Survivor and experience blindside, right? But I learned a lot from that.
Nice. And this is my final question. So if you could put yourself through this again, would you go out and do the experience a second time?
Yes, of course. I would love to. I think that my time was cut short before I could make the big moves. Like I said, my strategy was to chill and be unassuming and then start making big moves later on, and I didn't get a chance to do that. So I would love a second chance to do that. It was just unfortunate the way I went out. I would love to play again, and I think that I would win.